Real-life application problems. Percents are often used to solve application problems such as tax, tip, and discounts. Equations and proportions can be used to solve these types of problems. So for the equation method, if you were given the problem 4 is 80% of 5, you could write it as 4 equals 0.80 times 5. You could also set it up as a proportion and then cross multiply and solve. 4 over 5, because 4 is, that goes in the is position, 80%, the 80 goes over 100, of 5. The of number is the 5. So either method can be used to solve these types of problems. Let's try an example. A couple left their waiter a 20% tip in the amount of $22. What was the cost of their meal? Again, we can solve the problem in two ways. We'll do the equation way over here and the proportion way over here. So if we were doing the equation, a couple left their waiter a 20% tip. Well, 20% can be written as 0.20 in the amount of $22. That means that is the tip. So that's the part. What was the cost of their meal? That's 20% of the cost of their meal. So then we could divide both sides by 0.20. So we would have 22 over 0.2, and we can actually, when dividing by a decimal, we can move the decimal point over one space in the denominator, and whatever we do to the denominator, we have to do to the numerator. Or in other words, we're multiplying by 10 over 10, which is 1, to get the problem to be something simpler that we can divide by. We're getting it to be 220 divided by 2, which is 110. So that was the cost of their entire meal, $110. You can also do this as a proportion. We know that the 20% goes over 100. So that's the part over whole in terms of percentage. And then the tip represents the part, so it goes on top, 22 over x. And then if we cross multiply, we would get 20 is equal to 2,200. And then we would have 20x, and we would divide both sides by 20. We can cancel out one set of zeros by dividing both the numerator and denominator by 10. And then we would still get 110 as our solution this way as well. So again, this shows both methods of solving this problem for the total cost of the couple's meal, which was $110. Riding on a school bus are 18 students in 5th grade, 12 students from 6th grade, 15 students from 7th grade, and 17 students from 8th grade. What percent of the students on the bus are in 6th grade? Well, let's first figure out the total number of students that there are on the bus. So we have 18, 12, 15, and 17. If we add these up, 18 and 12 is 30, and 15 and 17 is 32. So 30 and 32 is 62. So we have 62 total students on the bus. So this represents the total. So it asks what percent of the students on the bus are in 6th grade. Okay, so we're looking for 6th grade. Okay, it's right here. So that's 12. So 12 students out of the total 62 is what percent over 100 as the proportion? Or you could write it as this equation, 12 is equal to 62x, where x is the percentage that you're looking for. So then if we were to take this equation and divide both sides by 62, we would get it was 0.1935. That's as a decimal. As a percent, that would be 19.35%. And if we were to cross multiply, we would get 1200 equals 62x. I'll replace the percent sign here with an x. And then if you divide both sides by 62, this time if we do that in a calculator, we would get 1200 that'll give it to us as the percentage, 19.35%. So you could do it in either format and you still get the same answer. And again, here are the solutions. Notice the equation method, set up the same way as we did it, and then we divided both sides by 62, and we got 0.1935, or 1,935 10,000ths, and that converts to 19 and 3500ths percent. And you can also use the proportion method and still get the same answer. You and 3 friends had dinner at a restaurant. The cost of the meals is $62. They want to leave a 15% tip. Calculate it. Okay, so we know that the tip, 15% tip, will be the part. So we can set it up as x is equal to 15% written as a decimal times the total cost, which was $62. And when we multiply these values together, we get $9.30. You can also calculate this value using a proportion. So we know we're looking for 15% out of 100, and we're looking for the part in terms of the money, and the total money value that we're taking that part or section of is $62. So then if we cross multiply, we would get 100x is equal to 62 times 15 is 930. And then if we divide both sides by 100, the first set of zeros cancel out, and then 93 divided by 10 is $9.30. All right, now let's look at the second part of this problem. When they arrive at the register, the cashier will calculate the sales tax on the meal at a rate of 7%. Determine what the sales tax is. Well, the sales tax is also a part of the total bill, so we can set it up as an equation as x is equal to 0.07 because we write the percentage as a decimal, and we're multiplying that by 62. Or if you prefer, you can use the proportion method, which would be x over 62 is equal to 7 over 100. And if we cross multiply, we would get 100x is equal to 62 times 7 would be 434. And then if we divide both sides by 100, we would basically move the decimal point 2 spaces over, and we would get that x is equal to $4.34. And if we multiply 0.07 or 7/100 times 62, we do get $4.34 as our tip, or I'm sorry, as the sales tax that we would have to pay the cashier in addition to the total bill. And as we can see on this slide, we did get a tip of $9.30 that we would need to leave. And it's done using the equation method and the proportion method. Similarly, the sales tax rate of $4.34 was also calculated in both methods.